to really take the initiative to really bring all of us together. And I hope that this is one dialogue and many more to happen over the next 6 to 12 months, where this group and others can really join forward and make a huge impact to make Framingham, Hudson, Marlborough, and the surrounding communities healthier places to work that are economically sufficient, where we have wonderful, wonderful businesses and community organizations who come together to do this, not only because it's the right thing to do for our employees and our community, because it's right for our business and it will help to make these organizations stronger collectively. Next slide. So who should we look to? We've got wonderful organizations in the room. We've got about 15 or so people, but quite frankly, we need more. So who else could you all partner with to really bring this movement forward? We would suggest that you think about partnering with other businesses and associations, both small and large. Schools, hospitals, universities, government organizations, state and local health departments, public health organizations, healthcare organizations, workers' compensation providers, insurance brokers, consultants, brokers, the list goes on and on. Wonderful parks, we've got the local Y here, transportation partners, and other nonprofit organizations. That's just a small snapshot into who you might think of partnering with to really move this movement forward within your organization. So think about, who do you know? Who are strategic partners for your business? Who are strategic partners for the MetroWest Moves Mass in Motion grant? How can you really build businesses together? How can you bring the voice of the small businesses together? Because we know that when you have 5 20-person organizations, that voice is the same when they band together as one medium-sized organization. And I know that technically in the definition of wellness world, 100 isn't a medium-sized organization. However, we know that the needs of a 10-person organization versus the needs of a 1,000-person organization are significantly different. So we really want to help businesses band together so that they become one large organization with a shared vision and a shared mission. So what's the business case at the Worksite? Why should you do this? We know that focusing on improving the health and quality of people's lives will improve the productivity and competitiveness of workers in your business organization. And I really want to hone in on that productivity argument. So a lot of times we hear from small organizations, why should I focus on worksite wellness? Because I will not see the impact on my overall healthcare claims cost. Well, that might be the case. You might be in an organization or a population where all of your health risks are pooled together as a small business. However, you will see an impact on the overall return on investment within your organization on productivity. And productivity is one of the major drivers and one of the ROI measures for small businesses and large businesses, but most importantly for small businesses. If you rely on 10 people in your organization to get your job done, and 2 people are either out sick with absenteeism or are coming to work but are not physically present while they're at work, think about what that means for the outcome of what you can produce or do in your business environment. I just want you all to think about it. You were from a small business. What happens if 2 people are out in your organization?
We have low billings, and our month could really be bad with 2 people being out. Yeah.
So you just said
month.
You lose a whole month.
Mm-hmm.
And already, the number of people in your organization are already doing, often, 5 jobs, 6 jobs, 10 jobs, 20 jobs at once, because we all wear multiple hats in a small organization. So just think about what happens when 2 people are out, or 2 people are there, but really, quite frankly, they better be home, because they're doing you no good while they're at work. That is what that return on investment, that is why, as a small business, you should think about applying for the Massachusetts Wellness Tax Credit, but more importantly, why you should also implement a comprehensive wellness program that's supported by the Wellness Tax Credit. So health promotion and disease management programs, they can improve the health of workers and help to lower their risk of disease. It can save businesses money by reducing health-related medical costs and limiting time away from work. It can increase worker morale, improve worker productivity, and it can also improve the financial performance of organizations. So as a CEO of a business, we're constantly hearing businesses want to make sure that they are competitive in their marketplace. So now we're really hearing that many organizations are building in their overall strategic wellness plan into all of their recruitment and retention efforts. We're also seeing as new employees come in, because wellness is becoming a little bit more mainstream, they're asking at the get-go what type of benefits or programs you have for employees around health and wellness. And taking it one step forward, it's usually pretty evident, the culture of your organization. And we know that cultures that truly support employee performance, cultures that have an arrow on their truck that say our #1 employee asset sits here, is going to have a longer strategic vision and an overall culture that supports employee performance and health versus someone that doesn't. So we want to get to the standpoint where we have arrows on all of our floors, and arrows on all of our doors, and arrows on all of our vans or trucks, where most of the businesses in this geographic area truly envision and believe that you all and your employees are their #1 asset. Next slide. There's also a strong business case at the community level. So it makes it easier to recruit a capable workforce to work in Framingham, Hudson, and Marlborough. It's easier to retain a capable workforce that is invested in their community, to promote healthy environments for employees and their families at home, and ultimately, a healthier workforce means a healthier economy. And we want to continue to create opportunities to sustain the economic value of businesses and their corporations and these communities at large. Next slide, please. So all right, we have a wonderful meeting today, and it's one fantastic opportunity. But what next? You all go back to your individual organizations. MetroWest Moves continues. What are some successful and strategies that we would recommend that you all think about adapting? You could develop employer-driven wellness strategies. And again, overarching strategies that maybe is developed by MetroWest Moves with collaboration from strategic partners that's going to happen across the community are going to have the breadth and sustainability for long-term change. You'll also want to think about the employer community as part of the solution. Nobody likes to be told what to do. Early on, my 3-year-old reminds me daily that he does not like to be told what to do. When it becomes something that he brings to the table in his idea, let me promise you, we go a lot further in our day than when mom tells him to do something. It's the same for all of us. So again, we want to make sure that we include businesses in the table, in the conversation about what collectively can be done to take this to the next step. We want to also help employers develop a shared mission, for population health management across the community. You also could develop leadership models that utilize multiple sectors and diverse organizations, formulate wellness-related strategies that meet local needs. Again, the local needs of your community. And no one's going to know better what needs to happen at the community than all of you, because you live here, you work here, you do this day in and day out. You should also use data to drive wellness efforts. Again, we would not recommend all of a sudden pulling tobacco-free out of thin air if in fact you look at your community county stats to find out that your population only has, and I'm making this up, but 4% of your population is smokers. You really want to look at your data and then decide where do you want to focus your efforts. And then how can you create priority, vision, and mission statements that are going to meet those needs across the sector. And last but not least, partner together. Create that shared voice, take it one step forward, but really this is an opportunity, and I congratulate all of you for coming together. I thank Metro Moves for really opening up the dialogue, and I think you all are at a wonderful stepping stone to truly take the health and well-being of your communities and your employees and take it one step further. Questions for us?
Yeah, thank you. We have some time left for questions, and then after we wrap up with questions, Michelle is going to sort of close off the meeting. So I'd like to open it up to...
I have another question. When you went back and you said identify health issues and do a health assessment of employees,
Yeah.
Where does that line come? I mean, we've all been told as employers that you can't ask certain questions about the employee's health.
Yeah.
Isn't that crossing the line?
So
a little bit?
Yeah, it's a great question, and you're right to be concerned about the confidentiality of your employees. When it comes to doing a comprehensive health risk assessment, they need to be confidential. So you can't know that the two people out on, on machine number 12 have not seen their doctor in 10 years, or one of them drinks too much. You're not entitled or should not be looking at that kind of information.
Yeah.
Insurers can provide health risk assessment processes for you that are confidential, and you can purchase that service through a vendor where you get an aggregate report. So all you do is as an employer, you help the process unfold. So you make the health risk assessment available either online or in paper. You encourage your employees to go. You might say, we're going to do a big raffle, and whoever comes to do their health risk assessment will get entered into the raffle for 8 hours of earned time, or for a trip to see a Red Sox game. So people come in and they do the health risk assessment, and they get a personal report, and then that information gets aggregated outside of that organization, and you get a report back that shows you the metrics in your group.
So the employer has to hire a company
Or use
at
their
their own
insurer.
expense.
Most insurers will do that.
But not for under 50 employees, because I've run into that where, I've tried to get that data.
Do you have a comment on that?
Well, so it's looking at, the idea behind a health risk appraisal or any type of biometric screening is that a comprehensive wellness program not only does it need to know what employees want, but it needs to understand what their risk factors are. So we definitely have seen that you need to do some type of health risk appraisal or some type of risk assessment process in the organizations. I don't believe it's common across all insurers that they won't do fewer than 50. I have not heard that as a standard across insurance space. I would again encourage it to be done with a third-party vendor or to partner with your insurance. And again, this collaboration and really bringing insurers into the table and helping them partner with you is really something that we would encourage. So especially as now it's outlined under the eligibility, under the tax credit piece, it's an opportunity to join forces and band together. Another idea, and then I will go to your question.
To follow up on Sue's point earlier on, is this something that a chamber could facilitate? Because companies of 50 or less are not going to be able to afford this or may decline because of this barrier. And we've talked about overcoming barriers through this entire presentation. Is it something that a chamber could facilitate and be the assessor?
We have seen, so I was actually, you almost kind of took the words out of my mouth. We have seen in other environments where businesses are able to band together. So a few businesses complete a health risk assessment, and it would be done by kind of a third party. And the chamber could certainly act as that third party. The one piece that you will want to do is to make sure that when you're determining your wellness program, you don't want to assume that if those three businesses are going together, that the needs and interests of those three businesses are the same. You need to develop some type of mechanism to make sure that that health risk piece is complemented with a needs and interest survey or some other type of mechanism in an individual company to make sure that you're not assuming that the Y and this organization and that organization have the same health risks. So you need to somehow divvy it up, but the chamber could certainly be that third party organization.
Some of the vendors out there nowadays actually can break that data right up for you.
Yes.
So, if you have a vendor that you as a chamber choose to bring in, that vendor could sort out different companies for you when you do that HRA. You'd get a big aggregate report, but you'd also get a snapshot from those smaller companies.
And I think that's tremendously important because privacy is important. If I have a 10-person company, there is no privacy if you want to take a health assessment. But if they go outside the company to a chamber or an insurer, I think they feel a little more confident.
Even in employer groups with less than 50, you have to be very careful around what kind of data you present. I mean, if you say that somebody has a BMI of greater than 40, even if you have a company of, 50, 60, 80 people, a lot of people will know who that one person is. So you have to be